And welcome back. The WWF tag team of Worsham and Porter are with us today. Will, Bruce, good to see both of you again.
Good to be here.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to talk, we started talking a little bit earlier about Medicaid.
Right.
All right. Now, I know that you got something special coming up, because you are always out there giving the free advice out to people who need it and to get them to understand. How about some points on, what you're going to be talking about or what you want people to know about Medicaid?
Well, we're in the kitchen here today.
Yes, I know
because
we are.
a lot of really important conversations around these topics
happen in the kitchen.
They happen in the
Right.
kitchen. And so we thought, well, let's just be in the kitchen so we can talk about
Next time, I'd appreciate it if you'd bring some food.
I'll bring some food.
Yeah. This is food for thought,
Yeah,
though.
we'll bring some food. So, really, it's a question that keeps coming up about Medicaid. People are worried that if they end up in long-term care, that they're going to lose all their assets, they're not going to have any money left for their spouse to live on, that their kids aren't going to get anything.
All of that stuff that you've been talking about planning for the future goes right out the window.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, we want to address that for folks. And so there are absolutely ways through estate planning and financial planning that you can preserve those assets. There are ways to do that with trust. There are ways to do that with some financial products that Bruce works with. So together, we're able to really sit down and talk with people and come up with some great answers.
Kind of a short answer. Can people protect themselves? Because that is what you hear. People lose everything if they need care.
They absolutely can. The sooner people plan, the better. There are some time restrictions on that. There's what people are familiar with as a look-back period, and some people are aware of that as a 5-year period. But there are other ways to plan, even if you think, oh, I don't have 5 years, or it's too late. It's not too late. It might be too late for the best possible plan, but it's not too late for any plan.
That's right.
And that's what you want to do, is be able to walk people, because it's confusing. Because when you, I do what other people do. You said, we're going to talk about Medicaid, and right away I start talking about Medicare.
Right.
Two different animals here.
Absolutely.
Yep, it gets confusing. So, the thing about time is we lose a little time every day.
Sure.
Right? So, when you've got time to set a plan in motion, to establish a blueprint for how you want your end of life handled, how you want your bills covered, how you want your care taken care of, how you want your family to be able to absorb that stress and that frustration and that financial burden, how do you want to do that? Well, when you've got time to plan, planning does pay off. And it's significant to understand that we need to get our affairs in order. We need to sit down. We need to do our research, do your own due diligence. The first thing, come to the workshop and just learn some of the basics. Come to the workshop, ask a few questions. Get some basics under your belt.
Right.
And then you and your spouse, you'll be able to have some conversation with your family about what to do. That's what we're trying to accomplish.
And in reality, these basics that you're talking about, that's a blueprint for everyone. It's what you do after that becomes individualized, right?
Right. I think everybody walks away from our workshops with certainly a better understanding about how estate planning can work. We dispel some myths. A lot of people walk in there with some wrong ideas that we're able to correct, at least the ideas about it, and then they get the opportunity to meet with us for free and get a real plan in place that works for them.
Okay.
21 years ago, I set this company up called the Resource Center.
Right.
Now, the whole premise behind what my little brain was trying to wrap around was the decades that I've spent in this business was putting together a network of people that could be a resource for a customer.
Okay.
Like Will. Like, if somebody needs some estate planning, he's the big part of my network. He does our estate planning. And I know that he's going to take care of customers. I've got people in different segments of professions, from real estate to tax consultants, all these folks that I know will take care of my customers. Now, when it comes to planning, it's all pretty much centered around finances, right?
That's what everyone's concerned about.
We've worked our whole life to pay off the farm, pay off our cars, pay for our personal stuff, maybe accumulate a little bit of savings, and now we've got our children to think about. And we're thinking, well, I've got more than I need. If I don't spend it, what am I going to do with it? Well, you don't want to give it to the government necessarily, right? I guess our fair share.
Sure.
But, I don't want to be, going into a care situation and have a nursing home become my largest heir to my estate.
And a lot of people are worried about that.
That's exactly right, they are. And, the problem is you're faced with that at a time when everything's up in the air. You're trying to make decisions. You're trying to figure out what's the best thing I can do for mom or dad. How can I handle their quality of life at the best that I can with the resources I've got? Well, if you're not real careful, you can get quality resources for care at a premium price.
Of course.
And then a lot of times people's health will improve when they get good nutrition,
Right.
they get medications on time,
Right.
they get good hydration, and they're watched 24/7, and then all of a sudden their health improves, and so they linger there for longer than expected. And the next thing you know, those account balances keep coming down. And I hear this all the time, and it's trying to figure out what type of a plan do we put in place to preserve the asset or to distribute the asset for the quality of care. Personally, my mom and dad, I want their quality of life taken care of.
Of course.
I don't need their inheritance, but I want to be a good steward of what my mom and dad worked their whole life for.
Of course.
And so that all comes together. So I put all this network together: property and casualty insurance, life insurance, long-term care planning, estate planning, tax planning, real estate planning. All of these professionals come in under our office as a referral, so I know my clients are taken care of. We're trying to simply share that with our community.
And it is best to get ahead of the game, because catch up tends to be a lot tougher to do as you go through life. If